Greetings, YouTube! So today we're going to be doing a new series called Nuzlocke and News, and so we are going to basically run over the, video game, you know, news that's happened within the past week. And so, you know, this week is just video game news because I didn't find so much news on like movies or anime or that kind of thing that was interesting me. And so, the whole thing is these are like very curated list of news events that have happened, in the video game industry that, I find particularly interesting. And so we're going to run through some of these and kind of discuss. And at the same time, I'm going to be attempting my first ever, Nuzlocke for Pokemon, and we're going to hop into Pokemon Emerald just because it's the one that I'm probably the most familiar with. And I totally didn't accidentally start playing the game and have to hop out before I remembered to click record. So chat's saying they want me to start with the Dying Light news that I hinted at. But see, the thing is I'm like, do I give chat the satisfaction of the Dying Light news because the one and only number one Dying Light fan wouldn't come hop into the chat? So it's like, do I even do the news or do I just pretend like that game's ever going to come out? Like we'll just delay it into 2023 at this point. Nah, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it. All right, so I'll pull up the news real quick, and so we're going to start with on Twitter earlier this week, Dying Light 2's official Twitter account stated the fact that Dying Light 2 would take 500 hours to complete. Which, it caught a lot of critics, it caught a lot of fans off guard. Some saying, oh my god, this is going to be the next Cyberpunk, it's going to be like just bloated, there's no way it's actually going to take 500 hours, blah blah blah. So there was a bunch of different stuff that ended up happening with it, and eventually, because of all the backlash, the Dying Light 2 official Twitter account rolled back their statement, clarifying that the 500-hour claim was to max out this is quotation marks, max out the, in quotation marks, choices and endings, checking every place on the map and every dialogue, and finding every collectible. So they then went on to clarify that the main story only takes 20 hours, and to complete every side quest and the main story takes about 80. So in actuality, you're looking at, multiple playthroughs that you're going to have to do to be able to get the different endings and outcomes that they've kind of hinted at through the process of, making Dying Light and all the news and stuff that they've told us. So they rolled back the 500-hour claim to basically, let us know that 80 of it is going to, be straight up game, and then after that it's going to be 500 hours to end up seeing everything, but a bunch of that is going to be it's going to be a lot of just re-listening to the same stuff. Like, yes, you're going to occasionally be getting new items and that kind of stuff, but like a lot of the same side quests, a lot of the story quests, are only going to be slightly changed with dialogue choices and things that happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually end up getting 500 hours worth out of this game. Yeah. Something I thought interesting was the fact that I thought it was going to be, originally when I read the statement, I thought it was going to be that it was 20 hours for main quest, 80 hours for side quest, but no, that 80 hours is including the main and the side quest. And I find that so interesting because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, okay, if we're doing 100 hours for main quest and side quest, then, that's like 5 different sections in the main story where it's like, okay, there can be considerable story branching decisions that you make. And, so we're going to name our character Laura. Laura. Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting the fact that they're saying 80 hours to do a full thing, but then, Yeah, no, that was so basically I'm reading chat also while I'm telling you guys the news. And chat is talking about how they're not sure if they're going to replay, 80 hours worth of game just to get, occasional different dialogue choices and that kind of thing. And granted, we'll see how different it is at launch. I know that originally when they were pitching the game, they were kind of talking about how different choices that you made in the story quest will like dramatically change how the map looks and that kind of stuff. The problem is, in my head at least, if they're saying that it is 20 hours for main quest, 80 hours for side quests, I can't imagine that the 60 hours of side quests are going to be too different depending on, choices that you make in the main game. I could see the 20 hours of main game being considerably different depending on choices you make. So, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I don't know if there are many people that are going to hit that 500 hours. And then I also want to make sure that when I'm doing this, I'm, giving credit where credit's due. And so all this information that I got for this was by Chris Scullion over on VGC, which is the Video Games Chronicle. So if you guys want to see the full article and kind of like, the proper write-up rather than me just kind of, blabbing, you can head over there, check that out, and, see exactly what's being said. Make sure, I'm not taking anything out of context. Alright, so chat's saying, did you see that they said they were going to be making DLC for the game for the next 5 years at least? That is insane. I think that their whole hope is the fact that, A, Dying Light 2 does well enough for that, but also B, I think they're planning on, this is coming out relatively early in this current console generation, so I think they're hoping to kind of be like, how you look at Halo with Xbox 360, where they just had like game after game after game come out. And so I think they're hoping to just be able to use the engine and everything that they have to just pump out content, which I think would be interesting, especially if they do like a season pass or something, like you spend a second $60 to get all the DLC, or if they're going to sit there and make you I think the article said at least one big DLC every year. That would be interesting because I know a lot of, like one big DLC every year. It's pretty ambitious, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not personally taking too much stock in it just because, we've seen with the game already how many times it's been delayed and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I think it would definitely be interesting to see a game that's supported as long as that, they're saying they're going to support it. Yeah, the chat's talking about getting the gold edition. That way you don't have to buy anything more. Platinum edition. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Alrighty, and then, so we're going to head over to the second article. And within the second article, there, real quick, I'm going to set the clock. It's always funny because it doesn't actually really end up mattering because there's not like a day-night cycle in this game, which I find hilarious. Just because, like, the generation before you actually had a day-night cycle. And, that changed what Pokemon you can buy and that kind of stuff. Second article is we're going to hop over to Twisted Metal, a series from our childhood that had, a PS3 game come out to very middling success. We didn't see anything for it on the PS4. It is currently being swapped development studios, so it was originally it was going to be put out by the company that did Demolition All-Stars, and Sony has gone in and taken that game out of that studio's hands and plopped it into a different studio's hands. It's currently, as far as I remember reading, they haven't announced what studio is working on it. However, they're saying that it's still supposed to be released sometime in 2023, around the same time as the movie/TV series that they're doing is supposed to come out. So it's fairly interesting the fact that they are assuming that they can, A, get this game going, in time to be able to put it out for 2023. Well, it's crazy because, like, this game can't be super far in development if they're like straight up pulling it from one. Yeah, that's I heard the PS3 one. It had you know, very middling success. Like a lot of people like who are diehard fans of the series were like, oh, you know, it's pretty good. I guess it just didn't, you know, it wasn't the old ones, which, you know, the old ones were just such classics. But yeah, I find it interesting the fact that they're pulling it from a studio that apparently has been working on it, but it's early enough to where they're pulling it and they're still expecting it to come out in 2023. So I think that's interesting. I think that's one to keep an eye on. But yeah, and just to make sure I'm, you know, properly quoting my sources and all that kind of thing. So the Twisted Metal article was from Andy Robinson over at VGC, which is also, you know, still the Video Games Chronicle. We're gonna hop now over to Take-Two, the owners of 2K Games, which are the publishers of the Borderlands series, for example, and Take-Two also owns Rockstar, you know, the people who did GTA and Red Dead Redemption. They went out and they bought mobile game publisher Zynga, who is known for games such as Farmville, Words with Friends, and they went out and they bought them for $12.7 billion, which is just about $5 million more than Microsoft bought Bethesda for, to put into context. Yeah, no, playing lots of games definitely makes the exclusivity just a giant fucking bummer. Which I actually have, one of my news things at the end is actually about that. But, so what's interesting about the fact that they bought, 2K bought Zynga, is so when discussing it, they said that, and this is a summed up version, if you want like the actual quotes and that kind of thing, you can head over to the article by Tom Phillips over in Eurogamer. But basically, to summarize, they said that the idea is to make the owned properties of Take-Two into mobile games. So they're wanting to bring GTA, Red Dead Redemption, Borderlands, like all those kind of games. They're wanting to bring them into like a mobile space. That way, you know, people can get their hands on them there as well. Which is insane. Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing is like nobody talks about like mobile games make money, and like I think this is the first time we're really seeing like a big studio acknowledge that. And so I think that's going to be super interesting, something to keep our eye on. I know that there's like a couple like full-on games that are, you know, like actually on mobile, like, you know, Knights of the Old Republic hops to mind. You got stuff like I believe some of the Final Fantasies are on there. Yeah, no, GTA 5 is never going away. That shit's gonna be here forever. Heading over to two related articles, but by two different people, so I'll make sure to quote them separately. So, Xbox's current consoles have outsold their previous consoles over the same period of time. So the Xbox Series X and S have Jesus loves you. Hello, thank you for hopping in and chatting. We are just discussing some news while attempting a Nuzlocke. This is my first ever Nuzlocke, so I'm kind of scared. I went with Emerald, which is never outsell the PS2. Yeah, no, PS2 is insane with its sales numbers. And I honestly, you look back on like articles and that kind of thing of how the PS2 like literally was outselling the PS3 at times, because like the PS2 was such a known quantity that developers were still developing titles for PS2 like well into the PS3 life cycle, which is just insane. Like it's something that hasn't really been seen in the video game industry since. So it's definitely one of those that it'll be impressive if anything like comes up on and touches those PS2 numbers. Alright, chat, we are looking at Mudkip, Torchic, or Trico. I personally typically go with Mudkip, but just for the sake of a Nuzlocke, I'm almost wondering if we should look somewhere towards like a Torchic just for that raw damage. Yeah, no, the Switch definitely is trying to hit some of those numbers. I know that the Wii sold like exceptionally well. I can't actually remember if the Wii ended up touching that or not. Hop over real quick and see the top selling console list. Yeah, no, PlayStation 2 handily sitting way out front. We actually farther back than I remembered. Yeah, so we're sitting at, yeah. So this is absolutely insane. So you gotta remember, the PlayStation 2 released in 2000, and it sold, you know, just shy of 155 million. And next closest after that is a bundle, which is the Nintendo DS family, where they're counting like literally all of the Nintendo DS's, which seems a little like cheating, but I mean, okay, Nintendo, you can get away with it. Then after that you have the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, which is crazy. Then you hop down to the PlayStation 4. Yeah, that's just absolutely insane. And then you have... Man, yeah, I was way off. I thought the Wii was in the top 5, but it's not even in the top 5. That's absolutely crazy. And then you have Switch sitting right outside at 7. Yeah, the PS2 and PS2 Slim's definitely a good point. They definitely, you know, reiterated. I definitely find it interesting when consoles kind of get away with that, of just, you know, being able to put out like a newer version and being able to, you know, kind of include it with sales. It's kind of like the same thing you see with movie releases, where like, you know, they re-release it with like an extra 17 minutes that's never been seen before, and then all of a sudden you get to pad the stats of how many people purchased tickets for that movie. It's definitely an interesting one. It would be curious to see, you know, just like straight up what consoles like individually are selling how much. Alrighty. I will talk to you later. I'll make sure to put this video up on YouTube. So, we'll hop through the rest of the news. I think I am going to hop over with Torchic, just because I think I'll be needing that damage. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we're looking. God, working 6 hours. Rough. Goodness gracious, why are you going into work at 3 a.m., man? It's absolutely a killer. Alrighty, so for now, before we can get like potions and that kind of thing, we're just going to, you know, pray that, you know, we don't get murdered. Alrighty, let me pull my notes back up, see what our next one we're currently looking at is. Oh, so, yeah, so the Xbox outselling itself over the same time period. That was by Adam Vestica over at techradar.com. So if you want to go see, you know, the full stats and info that they were throwing out there, you can hop over and see what's what. But, you know, going hand in hand with that, it was announced that Microsoft is also discontinuing Xbox One X and S consoles. So they're going full in on the Series X and S, which is definitely an interesting strategy, just because also earlier in the week we had PlayStation announce that their solution to not having enough chips to make PS5s is that they're going to go over and just be focusing on, you know, still putting out PS4s. That way people can still be playing those games. Which I find it interesting how different those two companies are strategizing for this current console generation. But definitely an interesting one. And so that last article was by Jared Moore over at IGN. And the final news article that, you know, kind of piqued my interest for the week was just the fact that, unfortunately, a game that I've been kind of looking forward to coming out this year, is supposed to come out, you know, rather early in the year, is unfortunately, it's getting delayed 7 months. It's like 3 gens of console. Damn, talk about stuck in the couch, right? Bro, for real, GTA... And, like, the crazy thing is, like, you hop in and you look at, like, the top-selling games for, like, the month, and anytime you hop in and look, like, GTA will be in there at, you know, somewhere on that list. Like, it'll be passing, like, games that just, like, straight up just came out, which is absolutely insane. Like, we were talking the other day about that same thing with, like, Skyrim. Like, how many times has Skyrim been released and remastered? It's pretty great. But, you know, it's interesting because there are so many other games that I'd love to see, you know, get pulled up from, like, the original Xbox or that kind of stuff. Instead, we just get Skyrim remastered a million times. Torchic name. What are we going to go with? I think we name... See, all of my name ideas I'm thinking for Torchic are just something along the lines of, like, a KFC joke. So, like, either the Colonel or maybe, like, Spice. Maybe we name him, like, 13 or something like that. Let's just go... Or straight up go Spice. But, back to the last story. So, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 was unfortunately delayed 7 months from April 28th to December 8th. Which is definitely a huge bummer, just because of, you know, that was an Xbox Games Pass game that was coming out rather, you know, soon, that I was looking forward to. And I also think that it's kind of going under the radar of just, like, it looks... kind of like a mix of, like, I would probably say, like, my wife put it really well. She said that to her it looked almost like a mix of, God, why can't I think of it? Metro and, Death Stranding, which, like, it definitely has that kind of, like, really, like, just wild kind of vibe to it, but then it also does, like, do that really creepy that Metro did pretty well. Try and build us up some levels just a little bit before we go fight the rival. I don't want to, you know, immediately fail just because we had, you know, oh, God, yeah, like that. I don't want, you know, the level 5 rival to hit us with a crit and just be fucking done with this playthrough. And, so the S.T.A.L.K.E.R news came, the one that I specifically pulled was from Austin Goslin over at Polygon. And the final bit of news that I just kind of want to bring up and talk about was the fact that God of War 2017 was released on PC earlier this week, and that honestly brings up, like, quite a list of PC games that, you know, like, or PC having PlayStation, like, 4 or 5 games on them, which is just absolutely insane, because now we're sitting there, you know, Horizon, PC, you go over to Death Stranding, PC, you know, God of War, PC, like, PC is managing to get a hold of, like, quite a bit of the so-called, you know, PlayStation exclusives, which I definitely think, you know, is one of those that, you know, earlier chat was talking about how, like, once you really start, like, playing a bunch of video games, like, that exclusivity, you know, you just can't help but feel it. And I find it interesting that we're just hitting a point where, like, exclusivity is kind of just ignoring just PC gaming, whereas, like, you know, you want to play an Xbox exclusive game, hey, it's probably on PC. And then, like, the list of PlayStation games that are PC exclusives that are, you know, coming over to PC is getting pretty crazy. So chat, I kind of said I'm not the biggest when it comes to like Nuzlocke playthroughs. I definitely, you know, this is my first one. I've heard the concept. You know, I literally have in one of my other tabs. I pulled up, you know, what the rules for a Nuzlocke are, just to make sure that, you know, I wasn't going to accidentally break any of them or that kind of stuff. But so my question to you guys is: grinding against the rules, or is it just kind of like a taboo in Nuzlockes? Because I feel like a lot of the times I see people playing like super close level, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people that like I have a pretty big tendency to like grind way past, you know, the level that I should be at. So like if it's one of those things where like technically it's not against the rules, but it's pretty taboo, I'll probably tone it down some, maybe, you know, not grind so hard. But if it's one of those that is just like, fuck it, you know, do whatever you want, then I might consider, you know, actually popping out and, you know, just trying to do this just straight up skill and luck. The goal is definitely to keep the death box to as low as I can keep it. You know, preferably I'd like to put nobody in there. We're going to go run and heal, and then we'll go take on the rival now that we're, you know, 2 levels up on him. I typically definitely, you know, end up hitting... If I'm being honest, I typically grind to like level 10 before I go fight the rival. But that's honestly just because, you know, I feel like Pokemon is one of those great games that like... That's why I felt like it would be good for doing, you know, this news and Nuzlocke segment that I'm kind of thinking. If you don't level cap, most people won't even consider it a Nuzlocke. Okay. And so when you say, if I don't level cap, you mean as in like, so, you know, there's the level that you hit before your Pokemon, like, stops listening to you? Are we talking about that, or are we talking about, like, something else? Gym battles. Yeah, because I definitely... I have a tendency to go a little bit hamsies with the grinding, to where, like... I'm trying to think where the first gym's located. I get there and I typically, when I'm not, you know, playing Nuzlocke and I have, you know, like a team that I'm actually growing, I'll typically have my starter at least evolved before I hit that first gym. So if that's one of those that it's like, oh yeah, you know, like most Nuzlockes you're hopping in there at like level 20 or whatever, then I don't feel so bad, and I definitely, my faith in being able to do this is a little bit higher. If it's one of those where it's like, oh, you know, like, you shouldn't be a higher level than them, then I'm definitely, I'm definitely not liking my odds. Because I'm definitely one of those people that, like, when I play Pokemon, it depends on how hardcore you want to do it. See, here's the thing, is, like... I don't know, I felt like if I was doing this, like, not on stream, and I was just kind of, you know, like, this is what I was focusing on, I would probably just, I don't know, I would probably try and keep it a little bit more competitive, but just the fact that I'm streaming and that kind of thing, just, you know, that way I'm chatting with you guys, all that kind of stuff. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm still engaging with chat. I'm not, like, ultra, you know, just, like, sweaty, sitting here trying to make sure I'm hitting, you know, nothing but super effective moves and whatnot. You know, I kind of, I don't know, I like to be able to walk in and be like, oh, okay, you know, let's walk through the grass, you know, just in my peripheral while I'm, you know, just grinding up the levels, just, you know, tackle botting over here. I don't know, I'll try and keep it somewhat competitive because, you know, I feel like the fun part to watch about a Nuzlocke, you know, besides the, oh, you know, what Pokemon are they going to get and that kind of thing, is also just, you know, like the Pokemon dying. Yeah, the Nuzlocke's just basically making it a challenge. And like honestly, I think the thing that I'm excited about with playing a Nuzlocke for the first time is I definitely tend to be one of those people that like I fall into that habit of I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not going to keep using the same Pokemon that I did last time. You know, I'm going to use new Pokemon. And then I just totally end up drifting back to the same team that I beat it with last time. So I'm kind of excited that the Nuzlocke will at least kind of hold me to like a new team, hopefully. I feel like also just with the challenge of not knowing what Pokemon you're going to have, so you know you can end up going into some fights without like somebody who's good against the gym. I feel like that's definitely already like a pretty solid challenge for me. I don't know. I'll try not to be super grindy. So, I guess another question for you guys that are maybe a little bit more experienced in Nuzlocks than I am. Yeah, I definitely get that you know, over leveling your starter to the moon. Yeah, and see, I'm trying to remember. In this one, I feel like Torchic's pretty good. I don't think that he is like the like best starter I could have gone with. I'm just kind of relying on him for I'm wanting him for end game kind of. You know, like he keeps pretty consistent damage, but you know, I'm kind of wanting him to hit hard later on. Let's get some shoes. But anyways, what I was asking is those of you who are a bit more experienced with like Nuzlocke and that kind of thing. So I just got Pokeballs from him. I've already technically been in this route. Does this count for you know, I can't catch any Pokemon on this route? Is Torchic's endgame not good? Oh man. Maybe that's just the little kid in me remembering and just thinking that Torchic was OP as hell. Did I already nerf myself? God damn. Is it just one of those things of like the entire Elite Four is good against him or what? Chad's in here leaving me in suspense. No spoilers. Oh no. Oh man, now Chad's got me scared. Alright, so like I said, this would technically be the first Pokemon I've seen on this spot. So can I catch them now that I have Pokeballs, or did I already like knock out the one that I could have because I technically was in the route already? I'm gonna do some light damage to them. I won't knock them out while I'm waiting to see what chat's opinion on it is. Maybe I catch them just in case. Okay, so Nuzlocke doesn't start till you get Pokeballs. That's what I was hoping for, but I was just waiting for, it feels like, some people are like, no, it's immediate, like just the hardcore, like super gatekeepy side. Alright, so I'm gonna throw a Pokeball and let's hope that I don't end up having to waste too many. Start off Puccina, definitely could have been better. If I was lucky, I would have, made it up top and maybe landed a Wingull. That would have been a nice, first one to catch. Though I think, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that might be a different area. Alright, what name are we going to name here? I think we just go with the classic and just call him Shadow. Okay, so I don't think I have a map yet. Man, just running into these fights. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been worse. I could have ended up getting a Wurmple. I don't know. I chose this. I chose Emerald just because it's the one that I played the most as a kid, and I thought I was pretty familiar with it. But now finding out that Torchic not OP late game, my mind's kind of blown. It could have also just been that Torchic was the Pokemon that I associate with my uncle who would play this, and I felt like he just like was always super good. But that could also just be, the like the rose-filtered glasses that we stare at those older than us with. Let's get a quick rest in here while I possibly head north, see what we got location-wise for this. Actually, if I remember, let's see. Sweet. Okay, so I was technically in Route 101 when I caught that guy. So this is Route 103. The question is, you know what, I might try and avoid Route 103 right now and see if I can catch a Pokemon on it later in this water section. And maybe get lucky and have like a, like that way I mean, I guess I'll guarantee a water in this area. Or just, in water areas in general. I don't know, I feel like a Wingull could be good early. Just to, like, kind of counterbalance my Torchic. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go try... You know what? No, the team's looking pretty solid right now. I'm about to go catch somebody over in this other area over here. So I'm not super worried about it. I guess my only thing that I'm kind of a bit nervous about is just the fact that Shadow is a level 2. So I might try and do is just get Shadow's level up a tiny bit. So, if you don't mind me asking you some questions, Jesus loves you. So I've been streaming for a little bit, and I'm just kind of curious, just how you kind of came upon the stream. Were you just, do you just like watch Nuzlocke, or you had your eye open for some Pokemon Emerald, or what kind of happened, like how did I fall in your sights, obviously not not criticizing you for watching. I obviously appreciate you being here, giving me the advice and guidance on Nuzlocke. I just definitely curious to see when I have new people hopping in, just where they're coming from, that kind of stuff. And if you don't feel like talking about it or that kind of thing, that's more than understandable. I totally get it if you just want to, chit chat about Pokemon or whatever. I just want to, kind of try and make sure I'm discussing with you, because, like I said, I've been streaming for a little bit, and it's my first time streaming Pokemon actually, because my wife actually just got me a capture card to where I can actually stream it now, which is pretty nice. But yeah, before that I'd been streaming some other games, and so I'm just curious if you're just avid Pokemon watcher, or if Twitch started recommending me or something. Managed to get the whole fight off with Shadow. That's nice. I actually looked over at my viewer count, and I'm not 100% sure, but Jesus Loves You might have popped out of here. So I feel bad. I was just talking to him this entire time, and then they're they dipped out of here a little bit ago. Probably had to go take care of something. I don't know. I enjoyed having somebody else over in the chat, so hopefully they'll come hang out. I've been playing a little bit longer than I planned to for the news and Nuzlocke, so I'll probably save here now that it looks like I kind of have everything all squared away. We're looking like we're at a good spot. I don't have anybody tuned in, just for Nuzlocke now, so yeah, I'm going to save it up there. I'll get the YouTube video going now. So yeah, we're gonna hop over here. What is up, YouTube? So we're going to end this recording here. So basically the idea is every Sunday I want to do a Nuzlocke and News series, or a News and Nuzlocke series, however you want, to go about saying it. But yeah, I'm going to kind of run you through the news that I've been kind of feeling, some, stuff that catches my eye, whether it be within video games, anime, movies, that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll talk about it here, while I attempt to do my first ever Nuzlocke of, Pokemon Emerald. My first ever Nuzlocke in general. But, if you only managed to catch part of the stream, or you want to, see the whole thing, start to finish, catch up on the news, kind of hear some thoughts, discussions, that kind of stuff, you can head over to the YouTube channel, @GlintingRuffian. And then, if you want to watch highlights, I try and post them daily over on, TikTok. That's the word I'm looking for. Hey, guys. I'm over on TikTok also, @GlintingRuffian, and then I also, tweet out announcements for the, when we're going live over at Twitter, @GlintingRuffian as well. So, if you want to hop over, like, subscribe, follow, all of the things, then, yeah, I would appreciate if you, came, gave the videos a like, subscribed, hit the bell, followed me on Twitch, commented in the chat. You can talk with Jesus Loves You or some of our other, active members who've been here for a little bit. I appreciate all of you. But yeah, so that's where we're going to hop off and say goodbye, YouTube.